Good morning. Hello. I am Tiffany Almeida and I'm with Pretty and Paper Crafts. I'm a Stampin' Up! independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I always get that backwards. And I'm going live with you today for Coffee and a Card every Sunday at 8 a.m. And I'm going to be showing you 3 fabulous projects featuring a new bundle. I'm so excited. The last thing I have to tell you guys about is the extra starter kit special. It's extra awesome because normally the starter kit is $125 a product for $99. But this month and next month only, so it only goes through August 31st, you can get the starter kit. You can get $155 in product for $99, free shipping. And then after that, you'll also get a $10 coupon to spend the following month, and you get an ongoing 20% discount, up to 25% discount on any future orders. So it's just a win-win, an extra. It's freaking awesome. If you love Stampin' Up! Product, if you have a huge wish list, if you just want to be a part of an amazing community, the starter kit's the way to go. And I have a link there in the description of my video. You've got to check it out. There's so many perks to being on my team. And there's so many perks to being a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, getting product early. We get to order from the catalog next month before everybody else, the holiday catalog. We get to know things before everyone else. It's just awesome. Okay, so if you have questions, let me know, but I would love to spoil you and have you on my team. All right, good morning to everybody that's just tuning in, you guys. I'm so excited for this week's projects because it's using a suite that I fell in love with the minute I saw it, and this is called the Silhouette Seams Suite. It comes with this amazing stamp set that has these beautiful silhouettes of children and a couple and some really fun sentiments. But then we also incorporate these awesome dies, which have words like adventure, inspire, forever, and then also this beautiful tree and this dandelion. So we're going to be using some of these today. I'm really excited to show you guys. The other thing that I really love about this suite, and if you know me, you know I love brush show, pigment sprinkles, and all kinds of bright colors. But this designer series paper is absolutely stunning and so fun. Look at these bright colors. It looks like these papers were colored with Brusho. All different fun patterns. Look at that one. We're going to be using that one today. And it's just so cool and very much my style, I have to say. So check this out. Thank you, Janie. Post-it was yeah. And then, so I'm just reading your guys' comments, trying to catch up. But yeah, so this paper is absolutely beautiful, and I'm so excited that it's part of this suite. So you guys have to check it out. And then, like I said, there's another piece to this suite that we're going to be playing with today, and that is the new shimmer embossing powder. There is shimmer white and shimmer black. So there's this white shimmer and the black shimmer. We're going to be using both today. Remember, this is going to be my free gift to you this week if you place a $75 order. And we're going to emboss like a crazy person with these projects. So I'm excited to show you that. Okay, so you guys ready to see the projects? I bet you are. I bet you're ready. All right, so for the first project here, we have this beautiful card of a little girl on a swing. She's embossed in the black shimmer embossing powder. Can you guys see the shimmer on that if I tilt it towards the light? I also used some glimmer paper and the white shimmer embossing powder for the sentiment. I also embossed the stars, and I'll show you how we're going to do this awesome card. It's all about shiny, shimmery glitter. So that's project number 1. Project number 2. Check this out, you guys. When I saw that dandelion, I knew that I wanted to make a wish card. And we actually have a set called Broadway Birthday that has this big wish die. And so what I did was I just replaced the eye with this giant dandelion. And then, of course, I cut some pieces to go kind of as they're flying out into the wind type thing. And oops, I lost one already. Whoopsie. And then, so we're gonna make this card, and we're using that beautiful designer series paper in the background. So can't wait to show you guys that. Last but not least, I think this is probably my I'm most excited about this one. This is a cute box. It has a surprise inside. And I thought, you know, it has all these children's silhouettes, so I wanted something that was fun, carefree, something a kid would like. And so when you pull this box open, be prepared for a surprise. Boo! This pop-up box. See this? Isn't this fun? I've never made one before as I throw it. But I've always wanted to, and this was the perfect opportunity to create something fun that I think any kid would like. And so anyways, and then you have the pretty silhouettes around the box, and it just folds flat, and you can put it back in the box. The box fits perfectly, and you just slide that in. So thank you, Karen, for sharing. You guys are awesome. We're going to go ahead and get started and make these 3 projects. I will show you guys how fun this new set is, okay? All right, so first things first, let's go ahead and make our beautiful little, our girls swinging on the swing here. You'll need a piece of Night of Navy and a piece of Balmy Blue for the background. And then we have our little frame made out of that shimmer paper. This is that really shimmery, sparkly paper. I used the rectangle stitched framelits to create this frame. So I took the largest and the third largest. So largest and third largest, and made a frame, cut them out of the Big Shot. I already did that ahead of time to create this frame. Okay. Now I'm actually incorporating quite a few sets into this project. Not only am I using the silhouettes, but I'm also going to be using the clouds from Above the Clouds. And I'm going to be using the stars from the Little Twinkle set. So this one is incorporating 3 different stamp sets. Okay, so this is a lot of embossing. So let's go ahead, and you're going to want to use the Embossing Buddy. This is going to be your best friend for these type of things, especially I have to say for the black embossing powder, because it seems to have a lot of static and it sticks to the paper and to your surroundings and everywhere. The other thing I'm going to do is, because I know how messy this stuff is, I'm going to put down a sheet to catch all the extra embossing powder, because it's a mess. Okay, so I've passed that over with the embossing powder. Now we're going to stamp the little girl swinging, so I have to actually get her out. She's not on a stamp set or on a block yet. So we got her on a block. You need your Versamark ink. That is the ink that we need to use for embossing. You guys all know about Versamark ink, right? It's clear and sticky, and the embossing powder sticks to it. And then when you heat it with the heat gun, it melts the embossing powder. So we're gonna have her swinging, just like our card here. So we'll just have it up towards the top. And we want her to kind of be leaning back in the swing. Okay, now you can't tell the image, but I can see it. It's a little bit darker than the rest of the cardstock. That's where our image is. And since that's the only thing we want black, we're going to just do that part first, and then we'll go back over with the stars. Okay, so we have our, oh no, we have our black. Now I've also noticed with the black, you can see this residue around my tub. It seems to be, like I said, really staticky and sticks. So it's kind of more of the messier of the 2 embossing powders, but it's really worth the mess. It's so cool. So I'm just going to pour this over my paper and tap off any extra. And I see a little, I touched her face. That's not good. So you just want to tap off any extra embossing powder. And I may have stamped her a little bit too low. Hopefully the frame will cover it. We'll have to figure something out. Okay, so there's our pretty embossed powder. I'm just gonna make sure the back is covered really good. So that's what it will look like before we heat it. And then just carefully try to pour this back in. Like I said, that black, it just shows everywhere. It just sticks to everything. So you'll have it all over your workstation, I'm sure. and the glitter everywhere. So if you don't like glitter, this is not the embossing powder for you. Oh, I'm all kinds of crazy today. Okay, I have to unwind my heat tool here. And we're going to heat this up real quick. Use something to hold your paper down, okay? So you don't burn your fingers, and just heat it. And you'll see it turn a different shade, and you know that it's heat set. Then we know it's melted, and it's all done. And now we have this beautiful black shimmery image of her, okay? Sticking to my fingers. You're gonna get me singing. Get me singing, Janie. Okay, the next thing we're gonna do is our stars. So I already have our stars on a block, and we're going to stamp with Versamark again because we want these to be shimmery white, right? Hi, Tim. Thanks for watching. Oh, I think Tim has to be part of the group to be able to comment, Terry, I think. So we'll get that taken care of. If he requests to join, I will add him. So I'm just going to stamp these stars around the entire image, just all over. Now I want to leave room for the clouds, so I don't want to hog the whole thing with stars. I think that's probably pretty good. Okay. Now we've got that stamped. Let's go ahead and put our white shimmer embossing powder on it. And we're just going to have to kind of do this in sections here. The white is really cool too. And actually, I was looking yesterday, this is in low inventory status. So the white is actually probably going to go on back order here in the next day or so. So if you really want this white before it's gone, make sure you get that. Okay, so now we've got the white in there. I'm just going to dump the extra back. And again, it's just, embossing powder can be really messy. It's just a fact. We just got to accept it. All right, so we're going to heat this one more time to set the stars. So how many of you, just out of curiosity, how many of you have never used embossing powder? Have any of you never tried embossing powder before? Be curious to see how many of you actually haven't, because it is really an awesome tool to use with card making. It's so pretty as is without the clouds. Janie, is that what you're saying? Well, I'm stamping clouds, girlfriend. I'm sorry. But you're right. It is kind of pretty just as it is. So we're going to just put some clouds all around her. And I'm stamping off once so that the image is a little bit lighter. You know, you can stamp a couple times. Sometimes there's clouds when there's stars. Not always, but sometimes. Now I have to tell you, you know, there's no such thing as making mistakes in card making, but the reason that this label is here is because I did a boo-boo with my stamping there, and I had to cover up some ink. So you guys might think that's an odd place to put that little label. Well, that's because I made a mistake, so that's where it ended up. So there we go. We have our card here. So now what we got to do is just put it together. We've done all the stamping and the embossing. And I've used it, but I'm terrible at it. No, you're not terrible at it. There is an art to it, and the more you use it, the more you'll figure it out. But if you're not using the Embossing Buddy, definitely use the Embossing Buddy. It will improve your embossing by 100-fold. This is our little Embossing Buddy guy, and he's filled with some sort of powder that kind of removes the oils and things on your card so that the embossing powder doesn't stick everywhere. Okay, so we've got this glued down. Isn't she gorgeous? She looks like she's having so much fun up there, swinging in the clouds among the stars. And then I put on my frame with dimensionals, and I'm just gonna cut up these side pieces. So I never waste dimensionals, as you can see. I always use up my sides, my borders, because they work just as good, sometimes better. So I'm just putting dimensionals around the back of the frame. We're gonna frame her in. I need to cut more. Oh, no, I have some. And then once we get those on, we will put it on our project. So just peeling off the backing on all these. That takes a lot of time, peeling all the backings. Sometimes getting them up. There we go. Come on. Oh, we do have to emboss one more thing. We have to emboss the sentiment. So we'll do that next. Okay, so we got to do our frame. Yeah, I stamped it way too. I don't think I can pull it up. Yeah. Well, she's going to be swinging in the middle of nowhere because I stamped her way too low. So make a note for that. Don't do what I did. Maybe my label needs to be up here now so I can hide this little boo-boo. I guess that's what's going to happen. Or I wonder if I can do my bow there. Let's see. You guys get to see how I fix my problems here. Maybe I'll put the bow up here and hide that little boo-boo. So maybe I'll do a double bow. This is Baker's Twine, Whisper White Baker's Twine. Oh, see, Suzette and I had the same idea. And Janie. Let's see. Did I make this bow big enough? No, I need a bigger bow. So we're just going to put a bow there and cover it up. You guys, I make mistakes all the time, and they're just opportunities to get creative and different. No need to panic or freak out. Okay, so we'll just put the bow there and it will look like she's hanging from the bow. Absolutely beautiful. Wow. Love it. Thank goodness for my mistake. See? It's attitude in life, right? Mistakes make new opportunities. So we're just going to put that bow there and it will hide our boo-boo. Bam. And now she looks really cute that way. Okay. Look at all those hearts. Yay. Okay. So now the next thing we're going to do is going to emboss that little sentiment. So I have a little piece. It's just a scrap piece of Night of Navy. And we're going to get that stamp set, Keep Dreaming. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you is you could do a different sentiment. You could use one of these in the little twinkle, like it was written in the stars. A star is born, love you more than the stars. Like you could do all kinds of fun things with the stars. You could also do things with the hot air balloon, let your dreams soar. Life is a beautiful ride. There's all kinds of awesome sentiments that you could do. And then in silhouette scenes, there's this Keep Dreaming, which is what I used. But there are lots of ideas that you could do. All right, so let's put this on the block. And we're going to use our Versamark again. And definitely want to use our embossing buddy. Just pass that over. And I think I could probably do it sideways like this. Less trimming that I'm going to have to do. Okay, so we're going to stamp the sentiment. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for helping me have a creative problem solving. I'm very blessed to know you guys. Okay, so now that I've done the embossing or the Versamark, I'm going to cover it with this white embossing powder again. Tap off the extra. I'm going to put a little bit more on the G. I think sometimes you have to kind of do 2 layers just to make sure everything sticks and it's covered. Let's go ahead and pour our embossing powder back. Okay. And we will heat set that. Okay. I am going to just keep things quick and easy and just cut this with my scissors. I'm going to even trim down the bottom a little bit so it's nice and thin. And then we can put this, I think, right about there is good. And I'm going to use dimensionals to put this on. So I'm just going to put a dimensional on the back there and stick it down right about there. Boom. Adorable. So look, we have two kind of different variations. You know, if you make mistakes, that's how that works. So fun. I love it, you guys. Thank you so much for walking through that situation with me. You guys are awesome. So very fun. This is a cute, cute card. I love this. And what a sweet gift to give a little girl. I love this. Or me. You can give it to me too. I'm a little girl at heart, right? Okay. So then our next project is this awesome Make-A-Wish card. I love this card, you guys. The color, the base color for this card is Rich Razzleberry. Okay. And so the base is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. This is the matte. This is just going to be a piece of Whisper White that backs the designer series paper. All the measurements are on my project sheet. Everything I use, the item numbers, the cost, the measurements, everything is on my project sheet, which is on my blog. If you guys ever want to know what did she use, what's the size, go over to my blog post and get the project sheet, okay? It has everything. So I've used the Whisper White. It's matting my designer series paper. This is that beautiful brush show, Sia Silhouette designer series paper is the name of it. And so that's going to be our back. So we can just go ahead and glue that on there. Okay. Blowing in the wind. Okay. There we go. And we're going to just glue that right onto our cardstock. It is good to have boo-boos. Barbara, unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about it because I have boo-boos all the time on my cards. It is a fact of life. And, you know, if you're a perfect stamper on your first go, I'm really, really happy for you. That's so cool. I wish I could be you when I grow up. Thank you, Karen, for sharing. Okay, so I put my designer series paper down. Now, the other thing I have is a piece of vellum. If you ever have a designer series paper that you want to use, it's beautiful, but might be just a bit too busy for your card, you can always use vellum to tone it down. It just tones things down, takes your focal point away from the background, and allows you to bring something to the forefront in the front. I know that Erica does this a lot. Erica Serwin from Pink Buckaroos, if you watch her, she does this a lot where she uses vellum to kind of tone down these busy backgrounds. So I used what she does in order to do this. Let's go ahead and do the Versamark part first so we can get the messy part first or done first. And that's using this Make A and then Wish. Now, I don't know if I mentioned it, but I used a separate set to go along with our dandelion. The Broadway Birthday, I knew, and I just actually got this set and I haven't used it, but I knew there was this big Wish die inside that I wanted to use with the dandelion because I have memories as a child of making wishes before I blew the dandelion seeds away. So yes, I was part of the problem. I passed on the seeds of the dandelions, but I made wishes as I did it. And so I knew I wanted to use this cool wish, make a wish. So this is Broadway Birthday, and I used this die and I cut out 2 sets of the wish, one in this silver glimmer paper and one in the Rich Razzleberry, so that I would have kind of a 2-tone word. So I use these framelits, okay? So I have these. And then for the Make A, the sentiment part, I used the stamps in the Broadway birthday. So I think I already have it on a block. Yep, I do. Okay, so we're gonna take a piece of rich raspberry. We're gonna set this aside and we'll do the embossing part first. We'll get the messy part over first. So we're gonna take our embossing buddy like we have and just pass that over the cardstock. The honeybees need dandelions? Oh, good to know. Bye, Barbara. We'll see you later. Dandelions are edible. Yes, I know that. Well, the greens are, right? Or are the flowers edible as well? Okay, one thing I want to point out as I'm stamping this is I took out the line that's under make A. There's a line under there. So all I wanted was make an A. I didn't want the line. So I'm going to stamp this, but then I'm going to trim it down to get rid of that line. So let's go ahead and emboss it in the white. This white shimmer emboss powder is so cool. Oh, that's the other thing I noticed was this set here is on low inventory as well. So somebody was reading my mind, and these are on low inventory and will probably go on back order quickly here too. I was like, what in the world? Everything I'm using today is on low inventory. Okay, so we've got our white shimmer powder, and we're going to heat this. Okay, now let's go ahead and take our scissors and trim it down so that I don't have that little line. You missed where the dandelion die came from? I will show you that in a minute. It is from the Silhouette bundle. It's the dies from the Sia Silhouette, or Silhouette Scenes, I think is what it's called. So I've just cut out the Make A, so I'll show you where the dandelions are. Here's the dandelion. This is in the Silhouette Scenes bundle, okay? So it's a really, I knew as soon as I saw that dandelion, I wanted to use it. Okay, so now that we've done our embossing, we can actually take this ugly piece of paper away. Thank you, piece of paper. Now we don't have embossing powder everywhere. Okay, so let's go ahead and assemble our card. Oh, the other thing I did was I cut out 2 dandelions. Now, the trick to this, because the dandelion die actually faces this way, where the stem kind of curves to the right. Well, I wanted it to curve to the left. And to do that with the silver paper, I actually had to cut the paper with the die facing upward. So when I put it through my Big Shot, I had and I'll just show you, I had the plate, I had my die, I had the piece of paper so that the glimmer side was facing up, and then I did my other plate and I ran it through, okay? So that I could get the direction of the shimmery paper going the right way. Hopefully that made sense. So I had to do that twice to get the direction that I wanted. Okay, so I have 2 going the way I wanted. And it matters on the shimmer paper because of the shimmer only being on one side. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and glue our pieces together. Now, if I was more organized, there it is. I'm going to show you a little tip about using your silicone mat and gluing and putting adhesive on these fine little pieces. So I'm going to take one of these sponges. You guys seen these Stampin' sponges? You guys ever done this? Where you take a sponge and you cut it up into wedges? So I cut it in half and then I cut wedges out of it. Okay, I'll only do 3. So I'm going to take one of these wedges and my silicone mat, and I'm going to take out some of my liquid glue, and I'm just going to make a pile right here on my silicone mat. And I'm going to take this sponge and I'm going to sponge the back of my dandelion so that it has adhesive on the back. And then I can take that and lay it across my other dandelion. And I want to offset it just slightly so that the purple's showing through just a little bit, not too much. So I'm just trying to pair them up where they go, and the stem's going to be the hardest part. But I just want a little bit of purple showing. You guys get the idea of what I'm trying to accomplish? Just a little bit of purple. So you can use this adhesive and just dab the back. And this one's not so bad, but you can get adhesive on the back of something without making a big old mess with it. And you're putting it on the silicone mat, so the adhesive wipes right off. So again, with the W, we're just going to overlap the purple just a little bit. Okay. And then, like I said, you can just take a wipe and clean off the glue from your silicone mat. See? Good as new. So that's just a little tip when you need to do something as fine as this, put glue on the back, you can do that. Okay. And then now we have to do a little bit of fussy cutting with this one. So we are actually going to cut off the I in Wish. So this is the S, and so we're just going to cut around like so. And same thing with our shimmer one. We're just going to cut that right off. Okay. And then we can put some adhesive on the back of our shimmer paper. And offset this like so. Cool, right? Shh. Janie says shh. All right. Now here's another little thing that we kind of have to be strategic about. Okay. Vellum. It's really easy to see the adhesive through vellum. So here was what I kind of did to work around that. I was strategic in where I put my adhesive. So what I did was I said, okay, I want my W here, I want my S here, I want my Mako right there. I kind of wanted my vellum at an angle, and then I wanted my dandelion. Okay, so then what I said was, all right, well, I'm gonna put adhesive, and adhesive, I mean glue dots. I'm gonna put glue dots behind the vellum, behind these sections, so that nobody will see that it was there. Okay, are you with me? So I'm gonna take a glue dot, and I'm going to say, okay, well, I want Make A right there. So I'm gonna, under my vellum where that Make A is gonna sit, I'm gonna put a glue dot there, and I'm gonna just glue that section down so that the little label is gonna cover that. And then I took another glue dot and I was like, okay, well, the dandelion's gonna be up here hiding this, so I can put a glue dot under here and hold that down, and my dandelion will cover it. And then I did the same thing for this corner. Down here, I knew my W was gonna cover it, so I put a glue dot down here and the other corner. And so then I know the vellum's not gonna go anywhere and nobody can see my adhesive. So you have to be kind of strategic with vellum. But that was my solution to that, okay? All right, now that we have the vellum down, we can go ahead and glue all of our pieces on. The other thing I've seen people do, and I think that's what Janie's trying to explain, is that same technique that I showed you with the silicone mat, where you can put adhesive, you can put liquid glue on the back and spread it evenly. When it dries, you can't really see it. So that's another option. So I'm just going to put some glue. I should have kept my silicone mat out to put glue on this. So make a wish. And then we're we're just gluing all these pieces down. And then I'll show you the last part. Oops. I think I did this dandelion over a bit too much. Oh well. And then the last part that I did was I took a little dandelion and cut apart a couple little pieces. So I ran an extra dandelion through the silver paper, through that silver glimmer paper, and I'm just going to cut some sections off so they look like little parts of the fluff. Let's see. Just trying to figure out what sections I want cut off. And it really doesn't matter. You just cut off some sections that look like they're flying away. So we'll do 3 pieces. And just put a little bit of glue on the back. And it will look like they are blowing away in the wind, which is so cool. And there you go. Make a wish. You can also put something in the center, which I think I'm going to do. I'm going to emboss the inside. So this one on the inside, it says, "You deserve it." I think on this one, I'm going to say, "It's your birthday." And that is from this Broadway birthday. So it's your birthday. You deserve it. You're never too old to make there's some really fun sentiments here. So I think I'm going to do the "It's your birthday." I'm going to do that in embossing. Happy birthday, Liv. I hope you're having a fabulous day. And that is tiny, tiny, tiny font. That should be fun to emboss. So let's go ahead and pour in some powder. And I didn't use the embossing buddy first, so this should be interesting. Hopefully we don't have too much residue. Nope, looks like we're okay. And I didn't use my little mat, so I'm gonna have embossing powder everywhere. Okay, so let's heat set that. Yay! And you have this beautiful card. Make a wish. Hey, little dandelion fluff, where are you going? I guess I have to make another one because there's a little glue spot there. Where'd my little dandelion fluff go? Did I throw it away? I don't know. I'm going to have to add another little dandelion here because this guy decided to move and stick down there now. So we'll do that later. All right, so there's project number 2, you guys. Hopefully you guys like that beautiful dandelion. That was one of my favorite things about the Sia silhouette. And I'm loving it so much. Love this set. I can't wait for you guys to play with this pigment sprinkles with it and all the other fun things I have planned. Okay. Project number 3, again, is this awesome pop-up surprise box. Boo! Love this thing. It's so fun. And pray for me that I've made 2 of these boxes so far. And hopefully I don't make some major mistakes doing it live. So there's our box. Let's go ahead and get some of these out of the way. We're going to definitely need our stamp sets. Okay, here's the thing about this project. There's 4 major sheets of cardstock that you're going to need. They're going to be cut and measured and scored and all kinds of things. So let's go ahead and make the box. We'll do the inside box first, okay? So we're going to take this out so you guys have a visual of the box we're going to make. So there's 2 pieces to the box. You actually need 2 pieces of cardstock. These are upside down. 2 pieces of cardstock that will be cut, scored, and all kinds of craziness. So I have already cut the 2 pieces. So we have one piece that's 7 inches by 9 inches. That's going to be one side. And then we have another piece that is 6.5 inches by 9.5 inches, and that's going to be the other side. All right, so first thing we're going to do is some scoring. Let's go ahead and score. I will take a picture and post this. I didn't do that, but I will, so that we have this instructions on how to score and everything. All right, so on the 7-inch side, I need you to score at 1/2 inch, 3.5, and 6.5. Okay, this is that 7-inch by 9-inch piece of paper. And then you're gonna turn it 90 degrees to the 9-inch side and score at 3 inches and 6 inches. Okay, that's our first piece. So I'm gonna set this aside. We'll go ahead, and since I have the scoreboard out, we're gonna go ahead and score the other piece that's 6.5 by 9.5, okay? So here's our 6.5 by 9.5. We're gonna score at 1/2 inch, 3.5 inches. Then we're gonna turn it 90 degrees to the right, and we're gonna score at 1/2 inch, 3.5, and 6.5. Okay? So we have those two pieces for the box. Now, these dotted lines are where we're going to mark our paper and cut. So all of this part that's scribbled out are all the pieces we have to cut off. So you're going to need a ruler or a straight edge of some kind and a marker or a pencil. Pencil's good because then you can erase the image if you need to. So what you're going to do, so for example, this square here, and I don't know if you guys can see the markings very well, but in this square here, so you have that 1/2 inch side here and the 1/2 inch side on top. On this square at the top corner, you're going to draw a mark from this point through the other corner of that square, all the way up through the 1/2 inch mark. So you're going to take your ruler, line it up from point to point, and draw a line, okay? And then again, in this top corner, we need to draw a line between the 2 points, okay? And then down here in this corner, we're gonna do the same thing, point to point. Now this entire box gets cut out, so we'll cut up along this score line, and then this center square, we're gonna cut across diagonally as well. So we'll go from this point to this point and draw a line like so. Okay, so we've got them. I know they're kind of hard to see with the lighting, but we're gonna go ahead and cut those out. And believe me, this box is worth this. I know it seems kind of confusing at first. You're like, how is this gonna come together? Why is this so much work? But it's totally worth it. It's so cool. And it's not that bad. Oops, that wasn't very straight. There we go. And then this last one, like I said, we're gonna go up and then across diagonally to the opposite corner and through the tab. So then you have this finished piece that looks like this. Okay, so that's one side of the box. Now let's do the other side of the box, which is the side that has the 2 1/2 inch score lines on the side. Okay, so the first thing is, let's go ahead and cut off this corner here. You're just gonna cut off the corner of that 1/2 inch side. You're going to cut off half of this square here. So just draw a line there. Down in the bottom box, you're gonna do that again. And again, make sure it's from the corner to corner of the box. Don't mind that corner there, or the 1/2 inch side there. So just cutting this again. And then again, we're gonna cut off this bottom box. This box will be gone completely. And then we're going to cut along this center box. Okay, so now that we've got that, let's go ahead and cut again. And it makes this really weird shape. It's like, what? Like when you see it, you're like, how is this gonna come together? But it's really cool. Now, I linked to the original video that I found this from. I can't remember the name of the UK demonstrator, but on my blog, there's a link to her video where I saw this box. So she, I don't know if she's the original one that designed it, but it's an awesome box and I give her full credit on my blog. I should have written her name down so that I would know what it is. Okay, so next we're gonna need our bone folder. And you're going to actually make a really important fold here. You're going to take the 2 points. So you're gonna take this, so you can see you have 2 full boxes here. So you're gonna take the point of one box and fold it up to the top box so that the points match, like so, and burnish, okay? And then you're going to fold the other score lines and burnish those really well, including the tabs, these little tabs that we've created. And then this little triangle here, this little half triangle thing that we cut, you're gonna fold it over on itself and line it up at that score line, see? Okay, so now you've got this piece, it's all burnished up, looks funky, you're like, what the heck did you just make? But it will make sense in here in a second. Okay, the next thing we're gonna do is the same exact thing on the opposite piece. Fold it in half and score, and then fold all of these score lines. And we'll fold back that little triangle piece. Okay. And then these tabs, we'll fold those in and in. Okay. So now you've got these pieces that look like this. And to start assembling this box, you want it to look like this. You want your 2 points at the top and you want them like looking away from each other. So this is the image that you want to see. This first tab is where you're going to glue these 2 corners together. So you're gonna want to use tear and tape for this because you want a nice strong adhesive to hold this box together. So put your tear and tape and we're going to assemble this box. So we're gonna put these 2 sides together like that, okay? Next part, we're gonna bring up these boxes. Did I do this right? Yeah, I did. Okay, so we're gonna bring up, like it's the side, and we have this piece here, the fold right here. You guys see that? So if you kind of bring it together like this, you have this fold here in the center, which is good. And then you have this tab here on the side, which we're going to put adhesive on. I'm horrible at giving directions, you guys. I'm so sorry. I'm like, how do I put this box together? I start to doubt myself is the problem. Because like I said, I've only done this box twice. And so I'm still not sure of myself. Okay, so then we put these 2 sides together. Okay, so now we have this bottom piece here, and then these 2 sides, and then this funny looking thing up here. All right, so now we have to do something with these 2 sides, okay? Something really important. We're gonna take a hole punch, and it doesn't have to be a big hole punch. It's not complicated, I'm just making it look complicated. So, remember, we've kind of created this partial box, we've popped out the 2 sides. Take the side that has the 2 flat pieces here and put your hole punch up about 1/2 inch and punch, okay? Then you're gonna take your scissors and about 1/4 inch away from that, you're gonna cut up and do a little diagonal slit there, little triangle slit, okay? And then I have to do this my way. And then look, it looks like a little shark. Looks like a little fish face. You're gonna cut from that little mouth up to the eye, like that, okay? This is gonna be what hooks our little rubber band. So there's a rubber band mechanism, I guess I should have said that, inside that holds this box. That what makes it pop, okay, is a little rubber band. So we have this little mechanism now that looks like a little fish face on one side. We're gonna do the exact same thing on this side. So we're gonna hole punch about 1/2 inch up, do a little triangle next to it. Okay, so I have my fish face here. Here's the fin, and we're gonna cut up to that eye. Okay, so now we've got that. So now we're going to push those two fish faces, we're gonna push them in. They're gonna go onto the inside of the box, like so. Okay, and then you need a rubber band. Now, I got my rubber bands from the Dollar Tree, and they're a little bit too big. You need something a little, probably about half the size, so that it's a nice and strong and holds your box together. So what I did is I just tied a knot in mine to make it smaller and tighter. Okay, so I won't even use this section. I'm only gonna use this smaller section here. But you can get rubber bands anywhere. You can get them at the Dollar Tree, you can get them at Walmart, you can get them at the grocery store, anywhere, office store. So just grab some rubber bands. You only need one. So you're gonna actually stick it through the slits and into that little eyelet that you made on both sides. Okay, so now you have this little section inside that holds it together. So now what we need to do is put adhesive on these two last tabs. So we'll do one at a time. So I'm gonna put adhesive on both, but I'm only gonna take the backing off one at a time. Okay, and you want it to go pull together like this. This is normal. Okay. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take this one side here and you're gonna line it up and you're gonna glue it down. Just like so, okay? And then we're gonna do the exact same thing with this corner. Line it up, fold it over, and glue it down. And now you have a box, like so. Woo! So now all that's left is to decorate our cute little box. Okay, so the one thing I did was I used that beautiful Sia Silhouette paper, and I cut 4 squares at 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. And that is going to be the backing of our box. So you'll take these and you'll just adhere those down. And I love that this box pops. That's such a fun mechanism, which is why I did the kid silhouette theme, is because I thought how fun and lighthearted and childish and this box is. So I thought this would be cute for a kid or someone young at heart, someone who needs a smile. And I just love this paper. I could use this paper all the time. But you can just picture your kids, you know, playing with it, popping it up. I, as an adult, want to keep playing with it and just keep popping it. Okay, so we've got our 4 sides. The next thing I did was I cut 4 crushed curry layering circles. These are the scallop circles in the layering circle dies. 4 of these to back our pretty sides here. So we've got 4 of these. Okay, and then I cut out 4 stitched circles in white, and these are going to be our silhouettes. Okay, so we're going to have the boy with the airplane, the girl pointing up to the sky, and our girl on her swing. And then the last one will have the sentiment: life was meant for good friends and great adventures. So we'll go ahead and get our stamp set out, and we have our four images that we're going to stamp. So the first one is our girl pointing. Now we definitely want to use our embossing buddy and pass over on these little circles so that none of the embossing powder sticks to everywhere. Let's go ahead and use our little catch-all for the messy embossing powder. I'm going to do that before I forget. So we have this little section here. Okay, just passing this one more time, making sure that I've got it nice and good so it doesn't stick. Okay, so one of them's going to be this little girl, and she barely fits. So I just made sure that her feet were down at the bottom. I wanted her fingers visible, or her finger visible. So she's on there. And then I did the little boy with this, nope, I didn't do him. I did the little boy with the airplane. It is kind of like origami, Cheryl. Thank you for the compliment, but it was a struggle. I hope I didn't make it too confusing. So I did the little guy with the airplane. Now I'm going to do the girl on the swing. And we just want this time we want the ropes to actually go over. We learn from our mistakes, right? Okay. And then we have our sentiment, which is the great adventures. Life was meant for good friends and great adventures. Okay. And we're just going to knock all four of these out at the same time. Why even mess around, right? Don't need our ruler anymore, so let's go ahead and set some of this aside. Get our black emboss powder here, the shimmer emboss powder. This stuff is so cool, you guys. Maybe messy, but it's awesome. So we're just going to cover our images, tap off any excess. I'm a tapper. I like to tap. Definitely see where my fingers were because that's where the embossing powder wants to stick. We'll do the sentiment. Okay, and then our little airplane guy. And just clean them off as best you can. Okay, and last one. Oh my gosh, yes. Wouldn't that be fun for Christmas? What a fun interactive card. Or you can do, more than just the little pop-up could fit in there. You could put candy in there, like a flat piece of Ghirardelli chocolate or something as a cute little surprise. Okay. So we've got our four images, and I will deal with that mess later. And let's go ahead and heat set all of these. And we'll do one by one here. Okay, so then, let's set this aside for now. We'll go ahead and glue these onto our circles. Very cool, right? The pop-up box, the pop-up cube, is probably, the most intimidating of this project, but it's not bad. Once you make a prototype, right? This is what my process was. I took two pieces of cardstock that were retired that I didn't care about, and I cut them down, and I followed the directions, and I looked at it and figured it out. I made mistakes, but you know, it wasn't a big deal because it was my trial. And then once I figured that out, then I went back and I did a little template like the one I showed you. So I did it all in white cardstock, and instead of cutting, I just marked things out so that I had a visual. And then I used the real cardstock and did it again and followed my little template and made it. And it's a process, but it's really cool to learn. And then now you have that kind of in your arsenal of things that you can make for later. So it's worth learning. It's worth taking the time, but there is a process to it. And if you do it right, you'll be set to make it again and again and enjoy it. So that was my process. And then I have to learn it and then teach it, which is like an added stress to that. So I'm putting dimensionals on the back of my circles, and I'm just going to put these up on the different sides where I put the designer series paper. Have fun on your birthday, Liv. I hope you have an amazing day. Thank you for watching. Okay, so we've got this almost done. Really, this was the hard part, and it's almost over. Then we get to make this awesome box, which I will be using this slide box for years to come. It is such a great box. It's a really sturdy, awesome design. So I'm so glad I found it. Thank you, Jewel, for sharing. Now remember, you guys, you can get all three of these projects cut, scored, and everything and sent directly to you for free with a $30 purchase. That's it. $30 purchase on my order on my online store, and you can get all of these projects. So the next thing we're gonna make is this really cool box. It has this awesome sturdy tray inside. It's actually doubled on the sides so that it's really super sturdy that you can pull. It's really snug. It's not gonna fall out or anything like that. It's a really, really great design. So I give props to that demonstrator that I can't remember her name, but she did a great job on this video and the tutorial. Okay, so let's go ahead and start by making the tray. Here is my little template. Yep, I made a template for the tray. You're gonna start out with a piece, and I didn't write it down on this, but the tray is 10 1/4 by 6 1/2. Okay, so let's go ahead. We're gonna need our scoreboard again. We have to do some score lines. So we have 7 1/4. Did I say that? 7 1/4. Oh, sorry. The tray is 7 1/4 by 10 1/4. Okay. On the short side, so on the 7 1/4 side, we're gonna score at 1 inch, 2 inches, 5 1/4, and 6 1/4. Then you're gonna turn it to the 10 1/4 side, and you're gonna score at 1 inch, 2 inch, 8 1/4, and 9 1/4. Thank you, Janie, you're sweet. Okay, so that's it for the tray. That's all the scoring. Now we're going to do some cutting, and I've used my little template to kind of show me what it is I need to cut. Now the parts that are scribbled out means I'm going to cut that entire section off. So you can see here, hopefully you can see, that there's this kind of box here happening in the corners. This is where we're going to be doing our cutting. So on the second score line in, this is on the long side, right? So the second score line in, we're going to cut up to the second score line. So right up, okay? And then we're going to take the first score line and we're going to cut up to the second score line. And we're going to cut that off completely. And I'm going to miter the side here so that it's at a bit of an angle. And you can see here my image kind of shows that. I'm gonna miter this angle, I'm gonna miter this angle, and this is a cut and this is coming completely off. So that makes sense to me, and it made sense to me anyway. So that's what I did. You're also gonna kind of wanna miter these little tabs because you want your box to fit together really well, okay? Same exact thing on this side, on all 4 sides actually, all 4 corners. So we're going to miter and cut and even miter this little tab. Just miter everything. When in doubt, miter. Okay, and then we're gonna miter this one. And we're gonna cut this corner tab off completely, so we'll miter here, and bam. So you have this funny looking shape on this side. We're gonna do the exact same thing on this side. So we're gonna miter here, cut up, miter this tab, miter this tab, and bam. And the same exact thing here. Miter, cut, miter, miter, and miter. So there we go. So now you have this funny looking shape. Okay, now we're good with this now. We want to hole punch at this point so that we can have our little handle that pulls. So we're doing this little tray right here. We want to make this little handle here. The really cool thing about this box is that this folds over and you don't even get to see the holes on the inside where the handle's glued. It's really, really cool. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna burnish all the score lines just so I can see everything really well and it kind of makes sense. So I'm just going to fold up and burnish all these lines. And then we're gonna do some hole punching and then we'll assemble. So I'm just folding these tabs. Just the inside score line is fine with these tabs. You don't need to do the second score line. Okay, so this is what it should look like. Take your small hole punch, and it's gonna be hard, but you're gonna punch this second, not this first box or this first rectangle, but into the second one. And it's kind of hard to reach, but you're gonna put your hole punch in as far as you can at an angle and punch a hole. And then you're gonna do the same thing on this side, as far as you can, and punch a hole, okay? Then you're gonna take, I love this new Crush Curry Crinkle seam binding. Love this ribbon. So easy to work with, so flexible, so soft and thin. It's awesome. So I'm going to take a section, I'm just gonna cut. You don't need hardly any. It's not a very big handle at all. And just going to put that through the front. Here's the front. Put it through the hole, one side, and then put it through the hole on the other side. Pull it through. Okay, you don't need a big handle, so just kind of pull it down until you've gotten the length you want. And then I try to make sure that it's not twisted up so that it looks kind of nice. Like so. Okay, so you have a lot of extra inside. I'm gonna cut that down, and then I'm just going to glue it down with some tear and tape. So just cut the extra off. You don't need it. Just wanna make sure I have a decent handle there, and then we're gonna glue those down. So use your tear and tape. Where did I put my tear and tape? Here it is. And just put a section down. You just wanna hold it down. That's all, okay? All right, now we're ready to glue things down. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put glue on these outside little side tabs. Okay, so I'm just gonna fold it in, put glue on it. And you wanna bring it up to the side of the box and glue it down. So you can see here, I just made a corner. I'm just gluing it to the inside, just made a corner here, just rubbing it. Why do I have ribbons? Look at my fingers. I have glue all over my fingers. So you're just gonna rub that until it's glued down. Do the same thing on this side. And this is why we mitered these little tabs, is so that when we fold over this piece, it will make a nice box and it won't be in the way. So just hold that for a second. Have I used the dental pieces to thread ribbon for thread? No, I haven't, but I have seen people do it and it looks like a very clever way to thread the ribbon. I'm gonna have to try it one of these days. Those dental flossers, the ones they use for braces. My kids actually have those because they have braces, so I'll have to steal some from them. Okay, so then this last one goes in. Just glue that down. Just hold it there for a second. So you can see our box is starting to form. The other reason why I really like this box design is because when I fold these sides over, you won't be able to see the little tabs. So it's a really, really clean box. So I'm just gonna put adhesive on this inner tab here on the side. We're gonna start gluing this down. You can use tear and tape or you can use liquid glue. And I'm just gonna use my bone folder and just rub this down until it glues nice and smooth. Look at that. Look at that side. Beautiful. We'll do the same thing on this side. Oh, I bet they are super easy, Debbie. I really do need to try it. I can't see if I'm getting any glue out. I don't think I am. And maybe at the end of my glue. I love getting a new Tombow. You guys ever love getting the new Tombow out and having all that glue at your fingertips? I love it. I hate having to tap and work the last of the glue out of my bottle. So I'm so excited when I get to try and get to open a new one. I'm really weird like that. Okay, so we've got the two sides down. They're nice and firm. And we're gonna do our last little side tabs. Use our bone folder and push that down. Good to know, Cheryl. I'm gonna have to give it a shot. Try those threaders. Okay, so there's one side. And this just makes for an amazingly sturdy box. And this is gonna hide that ribbon. Yeah, sticky free, right? Look how nasty it gets on the outside. I love those new bottles. Tammy feels me. I do use my holder, Janie. I do. There's just something to be said about getting the new Tombow out. Okay, so we've got our tray, super fun. And now the easy part, the wrap, which is so easy. So let's go ahead and set all these tools out of the way. The wrap, which is this awesome cutie right here, this measures 10 1/4 by 6.5. And we're gonna score it, and we're only gonna score it on the long side, only on one side. So the 10.5 side we're gonna score. We're gonna score at the 1.5 mark, the 2 5/8 mark, the 5 7/8 mark, and the 7-inch mark. That's it. Bam. Okay. And we're going to burnish those score lines so we can see them good. And then while our box is flat, we're gonna glue on our designer series paper so that it's easier, okay? So you're gonna need 3 pieces of designer series paper. The first are cut at 6 1/4 by 7/8 of an inch. So there's 2 pieces of that. These are gonna be the side panels. And then this piece is 6 1/4 by 3 inches, and it's gonna be our centerpiece, okay? So we'll just glue those on real quick. I'm gonna use a runner. Yeah. Don't want that adhesive to come back and bite me later. Okay, so we will just glue this down. This box is so cool. I can just see myself using this box a lot. Not just for the pop-up cube, but for all kinds of fun gift giving. Don't you think? It's a pretty cool box, right? You love my table? Thank you. This is actually, what do they call it? Photo paper, background paper that I bought at Hobby Lobby. I just laid it down over my table. Okay, so there we go. Now, here's the fun part. This is a cool trick that I like to do with the tear and tape. I'm going to take this bottom section that's smaller. I'm going to put a piece of tear and tape across the very end here. Okay, and then I'm going to put tear and tape, flip it over, on the big piece on the inside. We're going to put tear and tape right along the edge as well, like so. Now, the reason for this is because when I create this box, I know that I want this edge of the big piece to match up with this edge on the end. But I don't want this inside piece to just flap around. So that's why I put a piece on the top here so that it will glue to the top here and not be in the way. Okay, so the nice thing, and what I always encourage people to do, is assemble your box flat. And people are like, what are you talking about? You can lay your box down flat and glue it down and it will pop up to be a box. So if you fold this down, or you could even do it like this. If you fold this down so the section's here, then you would fold this section over and lay it flat, and it will glue exactly where it needs to go. See how I glued it flat and then I pop it up and it's ready to go? That's what I mean. When you do boxes, that's the way you want to do. You want to glue flat so that things are even and lined up the way that they should be. Okay? So then you put your little box in. This is the one I already made. And then take your tray, slide that in. Look how snug that is. Isn't that awesome? How snug of a fit it is. And it doesn't matter which way your tray goes. It can be on the left side, on the right side, doesn't matter. However, okay, so now let's go ahead. All we have left to do is this cute little boy on the front with the word adventure. This word adventure is also in the framelits, which I thought was still out, but I don't, let's see. Where is it? Where did I put it? I thought I had it out. I do. Here it is. So the word adventure, there's adventure, forever, and inspire. So the word adventure, I cut out of crushed curry already. So I have that here. Adventure. And I love the font of it. I love that cursive, that really swirly T. That's a really cool little letter or little word. And then I cut out 3 pieces. So I have another one of those stitch circles. I have a layering circle scallop in crushed curry. And then I have a layering circle that's slightly larger in the Pacific Point. Pacific Point is the blue that I used for this project. So I've kind of got this 3-layered circle going. So let's go ahead and emboss our cute little guy here. And he is our last piece to emboss. So we'll get our little scrap tray here. Use our embossing buddy. My embossing buddy's seen better days, hasn't he? Anyways, embossing buddy. And we will stamp him. And Versamark. He looks like he's on an adventure, right? He just looks like he's looking for a big adventure. That's cute. And then we'll, oh, thank you, Rhonda. I'm glad you liked all the projects today. We'll go ahead and dump some embossing powder on him. And we'll heat set him real quick. Needs something to hold it down. Okay, so now the rest is easy. Oops, I smudged his foot. Yeah, let that dry before you touch it. I smudged his foot a little bit. Whoopsie. Okay, so then we'll put some adhesive on the back of him. Glue him down to the stitched scallop circle. And then I used dimensionals to glue him down to the Pacific Point, which I have to grab more dimensionals out. These are the mini dimensionals. I love the minis. They're perfect for all those times where you need little ones. Put that on our Pacific Point circle, and then we'll just glue that down to our box. Right to the center here. And then we have our adventure word, which I'm just going to put adhesive, if my adhesive will work. And I just put it on the kind of center of the word because the ends of the words are sticking out over the circle. So I only really need adhesive on the center. And voila, you have a beautiful box. I have them going different directions, I see. And then you have that really fun pop-up box that goes inside. So you just fold this flat, slide that in. Look how perfectly that fits. Hold it down because it will pop up. Get that box in. Come on, Trey. Trey's being shy because it's Facebook Live. There we go. Look how fun that is. You guys love the projects from today? I love this set. I love this bundle so much. It's absolutely beautiful. You can make the most stunning projects. And you guys, you can get these projects from today for free with a $30 purchase from me. I will cut and prep everything for you so you have easy, fun crafting. I can't find my wish card. What did I do with my wish card? Oh, there it is. So you guys can see all of them. These are the beautiful projects that we made today. Thank you guys so much for joining me every Sunday and crafting with me. Here's the host code again if you should need it for your order. Remember that this week only, if your order is $75, you will get my Shimmer Black embossing powder for free so that you can make all of these fun projects. And you'll get my peacock rhinestones, and you'll get a $5 coupon, and you'll get my make and takes. How about that? I can't say and enough, right? Thank you guys so much. Have a fabulous week. We will craft again next Sunday, I'm sure. Excited to show you more amazing things. Thank you guys so much. Have a fabulous week. Bye-bye.